Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's look is going to be this look right here. I decided to do a drugstore makeup look. I did use a couple of products that I personally use every day. I think about 2 or 3 products that they're not drugstore products. So yeah, so 2 or 3. Also, thank you so much for all that you guys do, all the love and support. I really truly appreciate it. You guys are amazing, and I just been feeling very grateful for the fact that you guys are even reaching out to me to do videos and for all the support. Like, it means a lot to me. So by that's all. Please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a drugstore makeup. I am going to be using a few products that are a little bit high-end that I like to use for every day. Right now I'm using my sweet almond oil. It's a good moisturizer. It's also really good for the body and for massages. I use this once or twice a week on my face just to give me some vitamins. I love using the Mario Badescu facial spray. It's really good. It's only $5 and that's amazing. So next I'm going to be using my e.l.f. primer for hydration, just because certain areas of my skin, they tend to be a little bit more on the dry side. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is my L'Oreal Infallible Matte Foundation. This is really good for all skin types. It's more of a matte finish, which I love, and I'm going to be using my Sigma brush. This is my favorite Sigma brush. It's in the style F80 Flakibuki. That's what it's called, Flakibuki brush. It's really good because it helps your foundation look smoother, no lines, and it makes it look more natural than certain brushes that I use that sometimes the bristle starts coming off or just looks like you have lines all over your foundation. So that's why this is my favorite brush at the moment. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is the e.l.f. Kit. It comes with 2 different shades for the brows. I'm going to be using the darker just because my brows are a little bit more on the darker side. And what I personally like to do when it comes to my brows, I kind of just go with the shape of my brows, and then I kind of just little by little define them a little bit more. I go more darker in the mid of my brows and then lighter in the front part. So yeah. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is the e.l.f. concealer in the color medium, just to define underneath my brows and just to give them more of a definition. I like to use a flat brush just so I can really get in there and define them so it doesn't really get in my brows and it's more defined. And just to correct certain hairs that I want to hide with concealer as well. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is my NYX Pot Cream Concealer, just to go and conceal my eye just before I start doing actual eyeshadow in my eyes after I'm done with concealing my brows. And I'm using a Morphe brush, Morphe blending brush. So after I'm done blending all the concealer in my eyes, I'm gonna go back and use an e.l.f. palette. This palette is more for like contouring and highlighting, but it's too light for me at the moment just because I have a tan. So I'm going to be using another contour palette today, but I am going to be using that palette from e.l.f. because there's a color that's like more vanilla shade color, just to set my eyes after I'm done concealing and prepping my eyes before I put any eyeshadow on. So after I'm done setting my eyes, I'm going to be using a Wet n Wild palette. It doesn't really have a specific name. It just has like directions, like where you put like eyeshadow on the lid and like the crease and the brow bone. It doesn't really like give you names, so I'm going to be using a more of a pinky shade in my lid, and then I'm going to be using a neutral shade using the e.l.f. contour palette in my crease because some of the colors were either too light or too dark. And I am using a NYX eyeshadow that's more of a neutral tone just to define my eyes. And I'm using my fingers just to apply the product just because when you apply with your fingers sometimes it melts the product more and it shows more pigment to it. And then I'm going to take all the product that's underneath my eye that doesn't belong there, just because I don't want my foundation being a hot mess when I'm applying concealer. So I'm using the NYX corrector just to brighten a little bit more of underneath my eyes. And I'm going to be using my Morphe brush in the style E8. This I usually use it for cream contour or I use it for concealer just because it kind of helps make it look more natural instead of making it look so cakey on the face. So that's why I love using this brush. And I think you guys seen it in a couple of videos that I am obsessed with this brush. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is not a drugstore product, but this is what I've been loving usually at the time right now, is my Smashbox Photo Filter Powder Foundation. It's not so lightweight and it's not like heavy coverage, it's more of a medium. And I use it because it keeps my makeup more matte throughout the day. It doesn't make me look so oily. And the brush that I'm using is a Real Technique brush. I always use this one for powder foundation, and a little bit goes a long way when it comes to this powder. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is going to be my Laura Mercier setting powder. I love using the setting powder just because it doesn't like leave my under eyes creasing, and a little bit goes a long way. I've been using this for I think almost a year, and this is like my ride or die setting powder. I used to use the Bed Night one, the yellow one, but I feel like sometimes my under eyes used to look really yellow, and I don't want that. The bronzer that I'm going to be using is called Bahama Mama. And then the brush that I'm going to be using is a Morphe M551. This is actually my favorite brush for bronzer because it doesn't make it look so harsh. It kind of gives you more of like a sun natural tan look. I usually do use the smaller brushes just if I want more definition to my face. So yeah. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is my LA highlighter strobing highlighter, I meant to say, in the color, well, not the color, the name What. This highlighter is everything, and this highlighter, I think it only cost me like $5 or $6, I'm not sure, don't really remember, but like, look at that. A little bit goes such a long way. Like, when I saw this highlighter, I was like, what? Where has this been all my life? And since I'm a sucker for highlighters, I just have to have it and I just have to buy it. So yeah. So the next thing that I'm going to be showing you guys is the palette that I was using for my eyes from Wet n Wild. So they don't really have names, they have more of like where the colors go in your lid or your eyes or wherever. So this is how it looks. And I'm going to be using that light green forest look underneath my eyes. And I'm just going to put it underneath my lash line. And I'm using a flat brush just so I can really get in there and really get that color underneath the lash line. And I'm putting that highlighter again in the corner of my eyes just to make my eyes pop a little bit more and to look more awake. And I'm using the Ardell de Las Pack lashes. In the style Demi Wispies, I love Ardell lashes, and especially the wispy ones because they make it look a little more on the natural side. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is going to be my Maybelline Mega Plus Volume Express mascara in the style M600. I love this mascara because it separates your lashes and it kind of gives you more volume to it. And I like the bristles because the bristles, it makes them separate better, and so it doesn't look so clumpy when you put mascara on. So the next thing that I'm going to be using is this LA Chunky lip liner. It doesn't have a name, it's more like a cranberry rosy color, just because I really don't wear bright colors like that, and if I do, it's mostly for you guys to see what type of looks I do, but this is more like a rosy cranberry look. Then the color that I'm going to be using, drugstore lipstick that I'm going to be using today, is going to be an e.l.f. lipstick. So the lipstick that I'm going to be using from e.l.f. is, it's called Very Sorbet. It's more of like a matte finish, but it does have like a little bit of shine to it. It's very lightweight, it's very creamy, and it's very me because I love matte lipsticks, but I also don't want it to be so drying because it tends to make your lips really dry and no bueno when you have crusty lips, just putting it out there. So yeah, thank you so much guys for watching this video. Please let me know what you guys want to see next. Yeah, thank you for everything that you guys do, and I hope that you guys enjoy this drugstore makeup look, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy. Out of my mind, out of my mind. Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me. Too many times, too many times. My love, he makes it feel like nobody else, nobody else. But my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, to myself. 1, don't pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. 2, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend, you know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning, and if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. Pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. Nowhere to turn, nowhere to turn. No. Now I'm standing back from it, I finally see the path.